This next tutorial is on creating the project folders. As I've mentioned before, we need to create some dedicated folders for the Pictures to Exe show in order to manage our files better. So for this I'll be using Windows Explorer. Now that's the Windows Explorer icon, which should be on your desktop. If it isn't on your desktop, then you can get to it from the Start button on the bottom left hand corner of your screen. Select that, select all programs from in there, select accessories and Windows Explorer, and Windows Explorer should open. If you wish to get an icon onto your desktop, just right click on that Windows Explorer there. There should be an option to send to desktop as a shortcut. Now most people, a lot of people, save their images to default locations within the computer. It's usually to areas like My Pictures, My Music, and they're hidden somewhere within C drive. Now this may be fine for the casual user, but if you start to accumulate a library of photographs, then it makes sense to store them in a more logical and ordered location of your own choosing, preferably to a separate hard drive to what the operating system and programs are using. Now the operating system and programs normally use C drive, so ideally you need an additional hard drive for your work. And this policy can also simplify backing up your images to external hard drives as well. So this is how I go about creating a subfolder. This is Windows Explorer, and to get the layout that you see here, go to Organize, Layout, and make sure that Menu, Details pane, Preview pane, Navigation pane and Library pane are all ticked, and you should get a layout similar to this. Now in the left hand column you can see an icon for Computer. If you hover over the little triangle to the left, that will bring a drop down of all the drives on your computer, possibly missing out the DVDs if they're not active at the time. Now I'll be storing the project files to D drive. It happens to be an SSD drive, a solid state drive, but that makes no odds. It's a separate drive to C drive. If I click on the little triangle, you can see the folders at the root of D drive. And I already have a folder that I've created by selecting that, new folder, and entering 00 Pictures to Exe shows. I've put the 00 there as a prefix purely so it ends up at the top of this folder stack. So to create a subfolder within My Pictures to Exe shows, I'll click on the little triangle there, and you can see the folders that I've already got within the Pictures to Exe shows. So to create a folder, which will be called Skomer Island, select that, Pictures to Exe shows, make sure it's highlighted in blue and go to New Folder. That will create a new folder. I'm going to call that Skomer Island. Press enter. We've now got a folder called Skomer Island. Now I need, well I'd like, 3 additional subfolders within that. So I'm going to select Skomer Island, new folder, and I'm going to call this one Music. So this is where I'm going to store the backing soundtrack music. And if I click on the little triangle that's appeared to the left, you can see it's now become a subfolder of Skomer Island. Make sure Skomer Island is still selected, new folder, and I'm going to call this Pictures 1920 by 1080 px. So that's going to be where all the exactly sized images are going to be stored. I'm also going to create another folder for pictures. This is just my own way of going about things. You may wish to do it totally different to this, but it does make sense to create a dedicated set of folders. So this is going to be pictures, if you can spell right, full size, purely for the benefit of the demonstration, and I'll put for animation, just so we understand why I've done it that way. Oops. Just stretch that there so we can see the whole effect there. So within Skomer Island, I've got a folder now for music, pictures, which are going to be the exact dimensions of the show, and pictures where I'm going to apply some sort of zooming, panning, or rotational effect. So we've now got a folder system set up for the production of our show.